Long day, a long afternoon stretching well into the evening, but it could be memorable for the two teams who make it through and then find out who they will be playing in the next stage of the competition. The Scottish Cup, as ever, is live with us here on Sports Sound and BBC Radio Scotland. We kick off today's live action at Pittodrie with Callum Davidson, Willie Miller and Al Lamont.
Thanks very much, Richard. Welcome to Pittodrie as the Scottish Cup holders look to save their season by once again going deep in this competition and banish the woes of their league form. Raith Rovers, today's visitors, looking to produce a repeat of that last Scottish Cup visit here, as Richard mentioned, when Gregory Taddy gave them a 1-0 victory back in February 2010. The teams are out, the fans assembled, not in as great numbers as maybe at other times over the last couple of years. I see a banner away to our right hand side which says "No Old Firm Loans," as Tyrone hinted at in that interview with Peter Leven. I think the loan signing of Lyle Cameron from Rangers has split opinion. There was a suggestion that he chose Rangers over Aberdeen in the summer when he was leaving Dundee, and I don't think that goes down particularly well with Don's fans. The banner underneath that also says "Thank you, Jimmy," as Jimmy Tilleen having departed the club in the last few weeks, despite having ended the 35-year wait for a Scottish Cup trophy. But well, short memories in football, but the stark reality is that things weren't going well on the park for the Dons, and they made the change, and they'll have to make another change imminently with the appointment of a new permanent manager. But that is for another day. It is Raith Rovers who go from left to right in this first half, who'll get us underway, and preparing to do just that with Dylan Easton standing just inside the Aberdeen half. Kevin Clancy is the match referee, preparing to get us underway here. Aberdeen all in red as usual, and Raith Rovers all in navy are giving the signal, and we're underway, and it's sent back the way to Darragh O'Connor, who fires it forwards. And let's just see how quickly and how well these respective sides start the game. Can Raith Rovers apply a bit of pressure to what must be a relatively fragile and nervous Aberdeen backline? It's Gyamfi picking up on the left hand side and playing it forward for Keskinen, who tries to free himself of Jairo and then feeds it out to the right hand side to Devlin. Devlin plays it to his right as Milanovic then flights it towards the back post. Rowe goes up there with a header and glances it behind. There'll be an early Aberdeen corner. Positive start, Willie Miller, from the Dons.
Yeah, without doubt. You know, it's a kind of a start that I'm sure Peter Leven would be hoping for on the front foot. Slick passing, decent cross from Milanovic, not dealt with particularly well at the back post, and Aberdeen get the opportunity to test the visitors very early.
Lyle Cameron going across to take this, and he was applauded, I have to point out, by quite a number of Aberdeen fans there as he went to take the corner, and he flashes it into the near post. Raith Rovers haven't managed to get it clear yet. They just knock it high in the sky now. Keskinen is underneath it. He's out-muscled, shall we say, there by O'Connor, and out to the left hand side it goes, and Easton picks up. He's well challenged though by Gyamfi, who's unfortunate to see that come back off his shin and out for a throw-in over on the far side. But Raith Rovers surviving certainly that initial test from the corner kick. Callum Davidson.
Yeah, definitely. It was a good start by Aberdeen. Nice quick play, nice switch of play, early cross in the box, and it was a good delivery, and he actually got first contact on it, but Raith Rovers managed to deal with it quite well. It was actually nice to see Cameron getting a wee round of applause there. I know there's been a wee bit of, not signing players from the front, but it's nice to see him getting a little bit of support down the corner.
Aberdeen have got a throw in now in a pretty advanced position down the right hand side, and they're going to get another one as Raith Rovers intercept but knock it back out of play. It'll be Nicky Devlin about 20 odd yards from the corner flag to take into the feet of Armstrong, who's lost out initially to Ewan Wilson on loan from Motherwell. Aberdeen have worked it well, and Armstrong picks back up on the right hand side almost at the byline, just outside the penalty area. Plays it across goal just over the head of Keskinen, and Josh Millen will try and knock it clear, but it's well blocked by Gyamfi, and it comes back to Keskinen, who finds Devlin, who's just over the top with his effort from about 16 yards, central area, and just couldn't keep it down and couldn't provide a test for Josh Ray in the Raith Rovers goal. But it has been a decent start from Aberdeen.
It has, yeah, and they're pinning Raith Rovers down. Keskinen doing well. It was an awkward one for Devlin to take there. He was never in control of the ball. He's actually stretching quite a bit. He does well to get something on it. If he does keep it down, there's enough power behind it as well to test the Raith Rovers goal, but goes over the bar.
Josh Ray then to take the goal kick, 3 minutes in, no goals. Down the right hand side, Mullen gets his head to it but can only play it into Milanovic. Armstrong losing out, but Polvara will go back there and just let it go behind actually for a goal kick. He's playing left centre back alongside his doppelganger Jack Milne, so we're going to need to rely on the fact that Milne's wearing bright orange colour boots to discern between the pair at times this afternoon, as it's played forward and dealt with by O'Connor. Aberdeen pick up once more again through Nisbet though, and it's out to Milanovic on the right hand side, back to Cameron and into Clarkson in the midfield, just inside Raith Rovers territory, closed down quickly by Easton but keeping control of it, and now Cameron picks up once more over on the right, and Milanovic will have possession once more, and he just tries to slip in Nicky Devlin and just couldn't quite find him, and then Wilson gets it clear, and there's a foul on Easton just outside the penalty area by Stuart Armstrong, and Raith Rovers get a bit of respite again, but Aberdeen certainly starting in pretty slick fashion.
Yeah, quite like the rotation in midfield we talked about earlier with Cameron and Armstrong. Their movement's been really good, and the two wide players, Keskin and Milanovic, are not actually standing wide all the time. There's a lot of rotation, a lot of movement in there. It looks actually quite positive to start, and Clarkson's just sitting in front of the back four to protect them.
Yeah, he's just the deeper of that midfield three, isn't he, with Cameron and Armstrong ahead of him as Josh Ray plays it long, and it's well won by Jack Hamilton. Gyamfi's in there at the edge of his own penalty to knock it out for a throw-in on the far side, which the Raith Rovers left.
This is the thing, you think this is where Raith Rovers going to get their joys, that direct ball up. Hamilton's really good in the air. It's going to be a big test for Millen at the back and Polvara. But this is where Raith Rovers will start to build a wee bit of pressure against Aberdeen.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try for a long throw in here. No, I tell a lie, it's back the way, and now it'll be flighted in towards the back post. That's a bit of a waste right behind for a goal kick, and it was Doherty who tried to fire it in towards the back post, but I think it would have been better just getting it into the mixer, as it were, to put the pressure you're talking about on the Aberdeen back line.
Yeah, I mean, for me it looked like, you know what you said there, it was going to be a long throw, but you know it wasn't, and then it was lasered in, wasn't it? I mean, it was really fired into the box, not really, Doherty not really picking out one of his teammates, so it's an opportunity wasted.
Aberdeen get it out to the right hand side for Nicholas Milanovic, and it's come off him and going out for a throw in to Raith Rovers. Over on the far side again, the Raith left. 6 minutes in at Pittodrie, and it's Aberdeen 0, Raith Rovers 0.
There's nothing worse, Willie, is there? Going up as a centre half for a long throw, and you go short and then you kick it out the pitch and you got to run. Gets your distance up though, Willie. I'll get your distance up.
I don't think they had those what do you call the little vests they wear these days? Well, I don't think they had them in your day, did they?
No, I just tried to run as little as possible, to be perfectly honest.
All the running was in your head, Willie, I know that. First 5 yards. Here's Gyamfi interchanging with Armstrong. Left hand side for Aberdeen, plays it forward but cut out by Rowe. I think it's been given as a free kick though against for a foul on Gyamfi. Yeah, free kick to Aberdeen right on the halfway line, left hand side, taken short by Armstrong, and gets it back from Polvara, and then it's back with the American just inside his own half, left hand side, tries to move away from Scott Brown, and he's managed to do so. Brown was sticking close to him, and Kevin Clancy says that's a free kick. Didn't see all that much contact, it was certainly very close and the wrong side of Polvara, but didn't see an infringement there.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I think he actually pulled out Scott Brown. He was tight, but again a good drive and run from Polvara from the back.
Kevin Clancy giving the free kick to Aberdeen, which is already taken, and now it's Armstrong into Gyamfi, just inside the penalty area, left hand side, cleared as far as Clarkson, urged to go for goal. It's well blocked at the edge there by one of the Raith Rovers defenders. Raith struggling to get out just at the moment. It has been a decent start from the home side without troubling Josh Ray so far, but they're going to try and do so here as Keskinen comes forward on the left hand side, looking to get away from Mullen. He's turned him inside out. Keskinen tries to get the cross in, it's headed behind for another Aberdeen corner. Dougie Emery's side a little bit under the cosh at the moment.
Yeah, Toby Keskinen. See if Keskinen could actually, when he gets to the byline, pick out a red jersey. I mean, he gets there, constantly gets there. He's got good pace. He drives forward. He wants to take on the defender. But once he gets there, the crosses into the box are just poor, so poor. And, hits the first man again there.
Cameron sends into the near post, glanced on and at the back post. That must be over the line. It is. It's Jack Milne who's got the final touch, and Aberdeen have the early goal. Their pressure has threatened. It was glanced, I think, by Polvara towards the far post, and Milne met it there, came off the goalkeeper and back off Jack Milne. I'm not sure how much he actually knew about it in the end, but he is able to turn it over the line, and Aberdeen have an early breakthrough. It's Aberdeen 1, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, I think it was a well-worked corner there. They've tried that in the first corner to hit the front man. I think his twin brother gets the Polvara, gets the first contact on there, and it's always really difficult to deal with that once he gets that first touch in the air, and he's free at the back post, and he's been brave. He goes aggressive at the goalkeeper and bundles the ball into the back of the net. Great start from Aberdeen.
He does really well, Polvara, doesn't he? Because it's not an easy one for him to take. It almost comes off the side and the back of his head. He's just trying to knock it. And you're right, that's the second corner that they've tried from the same side as well. So they've obviously been working on it, and Jack Milne gets up there. He is a big they're obviously checking it, but I didn't see anything wrong with it, to be perfectly honest. But they are checking something. Don't know if it was contact from Jack Milne on the goalkeeper, perhaps on Josh Ray.
He's indicating an arm, I think, when he's pointing to his arm, so we'll have a look.
Yeah, well, Jack Milne will be certainly hoping this counts, because he's never scored for Aberdeen before. I mean, that'd be incredibly harsh if that's chopped off.
Yeah,
looking at a monitor here.
Can't see that being chopped off, but hey,
you never know.
Maybe said that before, and I've been wrong once. VAR have a right look at it, and perhaps at different angles as well. For me, I think the goalkeeper's made a bit of a mess of it, trying to flap it out, and it's come off Jack Milne. I think it's his body that it's come off of, but they're obviously checking for the arm, and the wait goes on. We're still waiting to find out what the decision is, but from what we've seen up here, it looks as though it's a good goal.
Yeah, it's important to point out that any handball at all by the goal scorer does lead to the goal being chalked off, whether it's deliberate or otherwise. But I don't see any. Yeah, the referee is given goal, and Jack Milne has his first ever Aberdeen goal to give his side the lead here in the early stages against Raith Rovers, and it's no less than Aberdeen have deserved, and as I say, they were threatening from the off, Callum.
Yeah, they appear to be delighted how they start the game. They've moved the ball really quickly. They've got into areas. Keskinen down this left-hand side, he's gone past people a couple of times. So really, they've been really pleased with the start they've made. Now it's important they keep that tempo there. Raith Rovers need to settle into the game. They need to try and get a little bit of a foothold. Aberdeen have controlled most of the ball. They need to get Scott Brown, Dylan Easton on the ball and try and get them further up the pitch.
Aberdeen have been certainly in charge, and here's Cameron leading them forward once more. Tries to release Keskinen, but well read by Jairo. But again, Kevin Clancy's pulled that back. I think there was maybe a little tug there from Brown on Cameron as he raced forwards.
I think the Aberdeen fans will get behind him if he keeps doing that all game. He's done it 2 or 3 times already. He drove the ball for 20-30 yards there, Willie. He's won the free kick, and it's that kind of positive play the Aberdeen fans will really enjoy when they watch him. When he gets into full flow, they'll really enjoy watching him play.
Yeah, I mean, he had an amazing season last year at Dundee, and certainly almost since he broke into the first team there, he's looked a terrific talent, and it's been just a stop-start period at Rangers for him, and it just seemed that Danny Rule didn't massively fancy him, didn't really ever include him once he returned from an early season injury. But I mean, this is a loan that could work out well for both him and indeed Aberdeen, if he can show the type of form he's clearly capable of. Here comes Ewan Wilson forward for Raith, but a good challenge by Clarkson to knock it out of play over on the far side for a Raith Rovers throw-in.
And the fans will get behind them. Okay, there might be noises, and because it's Rangers, etc., we all know the history between the two clubs. But at the same time, once he puts that red jersey on, if he shows commitment and his ability, then the fans are going to get right behind him.
Well, there's another opportunity to put a long throw in here, and surely this time Raith Rovers will take it. Plenty of bodies forward once more, as Callum is talking about the two centre halves are up there. In it comes. It's not a massive throw, and it has to be said, and Milanovic is pretty comfortably able to head that clear. Ewan Wilson will go back the way and take it once more, and he's gone back to Doherty this time. He'll roll it all the way back to his goalkeeper. Centre backs are still up, and so Ray knocks it long. It's O'Connor trying to make a nuisance of himself. Devlin's got himself in a Fanco. Oh, it's free inside the 6-yard box, and somehow it's Milne in the end who pokes it away, but Polvara with a back heel to his goalkeeper, which he simply wasn't expecting, unsurprisingly, and Aberdeen almost coughing up an equaliser there. Raith Rovers come again here. It's Easton just on the right hand side of the box, out to Mullen, right hand side. Gyamfi will try and close it down, which he's able to do. Armstrong steps in and picks up possession forward to Keskin, and now into Cameron, and Aberdeen can counter here. Milanovic crossing the halfway line on the right hand side, up against Wilson. Milanovic still. Armstrong calls for it on the left hand side. Here he is, just at the edge of the box, sends it in left footed, and it's swiped behind by Hanlon, I think it was, who knocked it up and over his crossbar, and it'll be an Aberdeen corner. But going back to the other end, I mean, Polvara, I know he's not a recognised centre back. That was unorthodox centre back play, Willie.
It was, yeah. I mean, it's Nicky Devlin in the first instance. I'm not too sure what Polvara's actually trying to do. He tries to clear it initially, and then it falls behind him. Then he tries a back heel to Mitov, and Mitov's fortunate that he gets a hand on it. That's a big opportunity for Raith.
Yeah, just scrambled away before they could pounce, really. I mean, arguably you could say Mitov shouldn't have handled what was I think meant to be a pass back, as the ball's flighted into the Raith Rovers area once more, and nodded behind. I think it was Milne again who got the last touch
Polvara,
on that.
he's the one with the gloves on as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good chance, a good corner. He's actually got up well, he's just glanced it past the far post, but a decent delivery again from Cameron. Going back to that chance for Raith over, that looks to be their route in. I think Gyamfi was standing 4 or 5 yards behind his back line and played them onside to start, and then it caused all sorts of problems. You can see that little bit of panic, can't you, in that defensive line of Aberdeen.
Yeah, Devlin looked uncomfortable as he tried to head it back to Mitov, and then Polvara got himself in a right old muddle, and Mitov able to push it away before Milne cleared. Here is Jack Milne, the goal scorer, playing it square to Polvara, now out to the left hand side to Gyamfi on the halfway line. Back in field to Clarkson, tries an outside of the right foot ball, which was adventurous and doesn't come off, and O'Connor sees it back to Josh Ray. We've played just over a quarter of an hour. Aberdeen leading by a goal to nil. Jack Milne on the score sheet for the very first time for his boyhood club, and that will certainly have eased a little bit of the nerves and the pressure on everyone involved, I suppose, with Aberdeen at the moment. O'Connor here clips it forward. Hamilton wins the header. Polvara wins the second ball. Armstrong down to Clarkson, and then Gyamfi back to Polvara. Out to Gyamfi once more, midway inside his own half. Clarkson for Polvara once more, now on the edge of his own penalty area. Just rolls it back to Mitov. Easton will go and close down. Clarkson's given him a terrible pass back. Oh, how has he kept that out, Mitov? Oh, he's done brilliantly in the end to prevent the own goal, but that is astonishingly bad stuff at the back from Aberdeen. Clarkson gave him an almost impossible ball to deal with. His first touch was poor. It looked like it was going to end up in the back of the net, but somehow he gets back to hook it clear, and it remains Aberdeen 1, Raith Rovers 0.
He does, he just keeps it out as well, doesn't he? But it's a dreadful pass from Mitov in the first place to Clarkson. It's not a great pass from Clarkson back to Mitov, but why you play that ball? It's straight, it's right down the throat. Clarkson, there's a man right on top of him as well. It's not a good pass back, and Mitov desperately just keeps it from going over the line.
Yeah, that was a real close thing. Definitely hadn't crossed the line, but it was exceptionally close to doing so.
do you not think that when you're under pressure as a goalkeeper, just play the ball forward early, drop it into Nisbet's chest, do something like that. Don't put yourself under unnecessary pressure. He's playing the ball to Clarkson, who's probably about 16 yards out from goal. The pitch isn't great. You know, it's a hard one to go first time back to goal. He's played a poor pass, and lucky he's not conceded an OG there.
But Raith Rovers will definitely have taken a bit of encouragement from the last few minutes, where they've caused a bit of consternation in the Aberdeen defence for sure.
It's a good game, isn't it? It's been quite a good start. You know, Aberdeen have obviously attacked well. They look a little bit vulnerable at the back, but it looks like a real good. Hopefully, it's going to turn into a real good cup tie. Yeah,
the important thing for Raith Rovers was that they didn't buckle, having lost that early goal, and they've actually responded pretty well. And here they are in an attacking area once more. It's Mullen on the right-hand side, can't get the cross beyond Keskinen. It'll be a throw-in to Raith, about 10 yards from the corner flag down below us. Mullen takes it quickly into Easton. It wasn't a bad idea. Easton just couldn't reach it, and it's gone behind for a goal kick to Aberdeen. We've played 18.5 minutes. Aberdeen leading by Jack Milne's early goal 2-0, but a couple of scares at the back for Aberdeen since then.
Self-inflicted as well, you know, both of them. Poor defending.
Yep, that's without question. Here's Brown getting there ahead of Cameron, squeezes it down the line for Mullen on the right hand side for Raith, surrounded by a couple of Aberdeen players, Armstrong and Gyamfi. Eventually hoisted clear by Polvara, but out of play. Throw in again to Raith Rovers. Dougie, and they'll be pleased enough with the way his side have bounced back to some extent from the loss of the early goal, because they had certainly been on the back foot for the opening stages.
I think Aberdeen will disappoint. Once they've scored, you know, they haven't really kept going, have they, caused those mistakes? Well, they've a couple of mistakes to put themselves under pressure rather than playing higher up the pitch. They've ended up playing in their final third.
Yeah.
They're doing it again here. You know, they're keeping the ball here. They've got to just keep moving it quick. Raith aren't set, so if they move it quick, they'll get out really easily. They're allowing Raith to be in their positions to go and press them. You know, and now all of a sudden Polvara's in trouble in his own 18-yard box.
Yeah,
agreed.
He's gone long, which is probably sensible. Nisbet will give chase. Hanlon will get there first, knocks it back to Josh Ray, who slices it out of play. And all that does now is gives Aberdeen the ball in an attacking area. As you say, Callum, it's fairly simple. Maybe kind of, you know, a lot of coaches want to play out from the back and so on, but it gets you 3/4 of the way up the pitch.
Yeah, mix it up though. You can mix it up. You know, if it's on to play it, absolutely play it. But if it's not, then go long, because the way Raith are playing as well, they're pressing the Aberdeen back four, so they're committing men forward. So when that happens, Callum, I think you bypass them, don't you? And you go more direct.
I think as well, sometimes they end up, it's a habit, you end up waiting to get everyone in position. That allows Raith to get back in position. Just go and play it quick, play it early. All of a sudden then you can go and play out, well, can't you? If you let them set, they know the triggers then how to go and press them. The pitch doesn't look great, you know, so you saw the Raith Rovers keeper kick it out of play, you know, from a simple clearance. So the pitch doesn't look great for that type of football today.
Free kick taken by Josh Ray up towards the edge of the box. Jack Hamilton flicks it on. Easton again in and around the edge of the penalty area, but Gyamfi gets it clear. Easton's already got 14 goals this season, so another impressive individual campaign for him.
I think somebody's got to get hold of, from Aberdeen, have got to get hold of Hamilton. I think he's won probably 3 or 4 headers. He's won most of the first contacts on the ball. Somebody's got to be aggressive with him, you know, and win that contact, and make sure he's not getting any free clean headers.
Devlin down for Milne out to the right hand side, where Armstrong picks up, just back into his own half, closed down there by Doherty, forced back the way to Milne, midway inside his own half. Jack Milne forward for Cameron, and back once more to Armstrong, and now Polvara. Again, Aberdeen playing it around at the back, inviting Raith to come and pin them in, but they've played round it pretty well, as Cameron now picks up just inside the Raith half, comes back in field and gets it back from Armstrong. Looking for options now ahead of him, nothing really doing, so he comes back the way to Milne, with Easton closing him down, gets it to his left to Polvara, and Polvara for Clarkson over on the left hand side, about 10 yards inside his own half. He goes all the way back to Mitov, as Raith Rovers look well organised, well drilled, as ball's now out with Devlin right hand side. He fires it forward, Hanlon's there to meet it, flicked forward by Wilson, and over on the left hand side down goes Andy Winter, and Raith Rovers get the free kick just inside their own half over on the far side, the left, as Raith Rovers come forward. We've played about a quarter of the game so far, and it's still Aberdeen 1, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, what Raith Rovers are trying to do, they're trying to squeeze the pitch. I think at the start, first 5-10 minutes, Aberdeen switched to play loads really quickly. And if you're watching there, Aberdeen got stuck a little bit. Raith Rovers are squeezing the pitch. Aberdeen have got to move the ball side to side really quickly.
That's well won by Gyro, but Easton, unusually for him, couldn't find the pass. And Kevin Clancy gets in the way of an Aberdeen ball forward, and it'll be a drop ball in Aberdeen's favour. But that was almost an opportunity there. If Dylan Easton could just have found the run of Mullen, it would have been a decent opening for the visitors.
They've came back into the game, Raith. I think it was, they seem a bit starstruck at the beginning of the game, and they've kind of found their confidence after going that goal down. And as Callum says, they are pressing. They're pressing quite high, but there is quite a bit of space in between the lines.
Here's Keskinen coming forwards. Milanovic makes the run ahead of him. He just has to wait for the ball, but does pick up. Now Devlin arrives in support. Angle of the box, right hand side, flashes it into the 6-yard box, but it's too close to the keeper, who holds on to it well, Josh Ray. But that was promising for Aberdeen, and perhaps should have led to a bit more than it ultimately did.
Yeah, that's that switch to play again. It's moved the ball quickly from one side to the other, and that's when the gap's going to open up against Raith Rovers. Once Aberdeen can do that quicker and more efficiently, they'll get chances against them, and it's a good chance to go and counter-attack on Raith Rovers.
Here's Cameron midway inside his own half, out to the right hand side to Devlin. Cameron once more back to Milne, plays it square to Polvara, just about 10 yards outside of his own penalty area. Steps forward and plays it out to the left to Keskinen. Keskinen now coming down the left hand side up against Rowe, driving towards the penalty area on the left hand side of the box, almost at the byline now, pokes it into the 6-yard box. Not a bad ball in. Wilson, I think it was, who got it half clear. Armstrong keeping it alive though. Clarkson now back to Armstrong on the edge of the box. Gyamfi on the left hand side has time to fire in across, and Hanlon got back there just to get something on it to knock it out to the right hand side, out for a throw in to be taken here by Nicky Devlin. Aberdeen looking for a second, which would give them that little bit more breathing space in the game. But good ball winning there by Wilson, leaving the Aberdeen player on the deck there, but Aberdeen have won it back in the midfield. Armstrong doing well, and now it's Keskinen up to the edge of the box, tries to take Rowe on the outside, but Rowe makes a good challenge and knocks it behind for a corner kick to Aberdeen. 1-0.
Yeah, Keskinen looks Aberdeen's got the main threat today. A couple of minutes before that, he's obviously gone past, I think it's Rowe again. He gets the ball this time. He's a little bit narrower. I thought he should go inside, and get a shot off with his right foot, stronger foot. He's trying to go down the line this time, and actually Rowe matches him. But again, a good couple of minutes for Aberdeen.
Yeah, corner kick once more on the left hand side to be taken by Lyle Cameron. It's the same spot from which the opening goal came. Can Cameron deliver once more? This time it's into a more central area, headed away by Rowe. Gyamfi's under a bit of pressure here. He's been robbed by Easton. Now Easton's claiming, I don't think this can be a red card. He's so far inside his own half. Yes, he was the last man, but I'd be very surprised. Indeed, it is a yellow card, but you can understand why the Raith Rovers players are claiming that it should be a red, because Dylan Easton robbed Gyamfi about 10-15 yards inside the Raith half. There was no one else back though for Aberdeen, and it would have definitely been a decent opportunity for Raith Rovers had he not been felled by Gyamfi.
I think there was a covering player, Clarkson it was as well, that looked as though perhaps he could have got back. Listen, it's a yellow card. There's no way that you could say that that's a goal scoring opportunity.
Not Dylan Easton anyway. But no, I don't know why he lets the ball bounce. He lets the ball bounce twice,
yeah,
and allows him to get put under pressure. Just put the ball back in the box and ask more questions of the defenders. Again, another mistake from the Aberdeen defence that have given Raith Rovers that wee bit of hope in the game.
Free kick then to be taken by Josh Ray. Raith Rovers win the aerial ball with Jack Hamilton once again, and he's won a second header inside the Aberdeen penalty area. Aberdeen they'll pick up through Gyamfi, trying to get it clear, just knocks it out of play on this near side. Well, as much as it was a good start by Aberdeen, they are clearly far from home and dry in this cup tie at this stage, with Raith Rovers making a decent fist of trying to get back into it, as Rowe has it right hand side under pressure. can't get it beyond Gyamfi. Clarkson closed down by Doherty and out of play for an Aberdeen throw deep in their own territory. 27 minutes in, Aberdeen leading by a goal to nil, but Raith Rovers have come back into it pretty well.
There's no doubt that Raith are in this game. That's for sure. Showing good energy, good belief as well, and they've been presented with two fabulous opportunities, poor defending from the Dons as well. So I think Aberdeen have got to cut these mistakes out, because Raith are, they're certainly committing plenty men forward.
And here's Wilson coming forward from left back. He's back the way to Doherty, about 10 yards inside the Aberdeen half. He comes back into the Raith half to O'Connor. Centre back closed down by Nisbet, and he's fired the pass straight at Keskinen, but he's not been able to keep hold of the ball. And now Brown fires it into the chest of Easton. A difficult one for him to control, but good hard work there by Dylan Easton to make sure he held on to possession. Now he clips it back to Paul Hanlon, about 20 yards inside his own half. Forward to Doherty. Doherty for Winter, and now back with Hanlon once more, and back to Josh Ray. Dougie Emery wants it fired forward down this right hand side for Rowe to go and challenge Gyamfi, but Gyamfi does well and heads it out of play. Throw in on the halfway line for Raith Rovers. Scott Brown will just leave that for Rowe to take.
It's probably the first time Raith have actually kept the ball. At the back, they moved it around sort of middle of the pitch and just figuring out how Aberdeen are going to press them. I think it's Keskinen jumping in the opposite centre half, so we'll leave that sort of row on the right side free, which they tried to hit, but it was good defending by Gyamfi on the left hand side.
O'Connor forward, Armstrong underneath it, but it's picked up by Doherty on the halfway line. Back to his captain Scott Brown. Brown forward down the right hand side. Gyamfi gets his head to it. Cameron under pressure there from Easton, who wins possession. Just gave him a little nudge there to put him off balance. Now it's Wilson left hand side for Raith Rovers, but midway inside the Aberdeen half. Out to Winter, left hand side, just knocks that back to Doherty. Crossfield pass is a poor one, picked up by Keskinen, who should really have done better, but he's lost it to O'Connor here. He comes forward, right hand side is Rowe, but 15 yards from the byline. Good toe in there from Gyamfi just to unsettle him, but Keskinen's clumsy with his challenge, and it'll be a Raith Rovers free kick, just a few yards in from the right touch line, midway inside the Aberdeen half, and this will certainly be an opportunity to try and test the Aberdeen defence.
It's Keskinen. Initially he should have controlled the ball. He gives possession away when really it should have been an Aberdeen attack, and then he just loses it, doesn't think, just barges in and takes a Raith player out. No doubt it's a free kick.
Josh Mullen right hand side sends it in, headed away by Armstrong. Raith Rovers will pick up once more. Doherty just clips it back in towards the edge of the box. Picked up by Armstrong once more. Launches it high up towards the halfway line. Corners underneath it. Gyamfi brings it down on his left thigh and plays it to Armstrong. Armstrong back to the edge of his own box to Polvara and square to Jack Milne. He's got a bit of time here to find Armstrong. Back to Polvara once more. Dylan Easton trying to close him down, but he's played it forward to Clarkson. Clarkson up towards the halfway line, fires it out to the right hand side, just couldn't get enough on it to get it past O'Connor out there, but Raith Rovers have done well to pick up possession once more, and they come forward, and it's into the feet of Hamilton, who's just off balance, and if he'd been able to bring that under control, he might have been away because Milne had slipped. But as it is, Aberdeen pick up once more, and it's Gyamfi left hand side into Clarkson, just about 20 yards inside his own half. To his right is Cameron on the halfway line, involves Devlin out to Milanovic right hand side, back in field to Cameron once more. Aberdeen advancing, back out to the right it goes. Milanovic here up against Ewan Wilson, trying to get to the byline. He's done well, and he's won the corner.
Yeah, that was good from Milanovic there. It's the first time I've actually seen him go down the line. He's got a great left foot, but sometimes he's always been coming back in the pitch. There he decides to go and drive at the defender. He goes, cuts sort of down the sort of byline and gets a corner for Aberdeen.
Over on the right hand side this time, again to be taken by Lyle Cameron. This will be more of an outswinger, you would imagine, the right footed midfielder, and it comes again to the near post. It's won by Rowe, headed well out of play. Throw in quickly taken by Cameron, back to Clarkson. Clarkson will arrow it back into the edge of the box, but Rowe again is able to get there first chested down by Polvara, and then high up in the air. Keskinen and Rowe contest the high ball. Rowe wins it. Aberdeen pick up once more though, and it's Cameron back to Clarkson, just at the edge of the centre circle in the Raith half, out to the right to Devlin. 12.5 minutes left in this first period as Devlin just runs the ball out of play. Poor from the full-back.
Yeah, you really got to use your experience, and he's got plenty of it. As Devlin out on the right hand side there, just making the wrong decision, trying to take it down the line when it's not really on to take it down the line. Then I think he then thought, no, that's not really on, and he just towed it right out of the park. So it was a promising position that Aberdeen were in, and totally wasted.
Now the ball loose in the midfield, but Scott Brown is able to pick up possession for Raith. Rowe just nudges it back to Josh Ray, who fires it up towards Mullen on this right hand side, just inside the Aberdeen half. Back to Brown. Brown clips it down the line. Easton will go and try and pick up here. Mullen's with him. Brown's made a good supporting run as well. Here is Brown. Good challenge from Lyle Cameron. That's applauded, but Aberdeen give it away. Doherty on the edge of the box. Now Easton's got opportunity here to try and pick a pass. Well, the pass was on to Wilson. I'm not sure why he didn't go for it. Then he clips the heels of Polvara to try and stop the counter, but Aberdeen are still going, and it's Keskinen right hand side this time. Fires it back into Polvara, who's come forward for Aberdeen into the feet, or he's looking for Milanovic there. It cleared before it got there. Armstrong picks up midway inside the Raith half, infield to Clarkson and back to Armstrong, just left of centre, back into Clarkson once more, now into the feet of Milanovic, tries the little flick round the corner, doesn't come off. Raith Rovers will pick up here. Winter losing out to Devlin though, claims for handball against Devlin. Cameron picks up, good ball in from the right hand side, breaks to Keskinen into the side netting from the Finn from a tight angle. It was an ambitious effort from such a tight angle, might have been better trying to get that as a cutback, but as it was, tried to fire for goal and hits it wide of target. 34 on the clock. Aberdeen 1, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, I feel a wee bit sorry for Nisbet today, because his movement's been really good.
Yeah.
I don't think he's hardly had a kick. You know, I think balls come in the box again. I think Keskinen, you've already mentioned it, he's just got to just cut that back, hasn't he? I don't know what he's trying to do there, but again, Nisbet's been moving the counter attack, but again they haven't found him. You can see him getting a wee bit frustrated because he's trying to occupy the two centre halves, and Aberdeen really haven't got him on the ball. If they can get more balls into him and then play off them, they should get more joy.
I think Keskinen, I mean, he's really positive in everything he does, Keskinen. It's just that final cross, the final pass, the final decision that he's got to make once he gets into, really important positions, and that was a point there where he gets it in the wide there, and he's just got to show more composure. Could maybe put a little touch in the ball, just steady himself, but he goes for the first time and goes into the side net, and it's another opportunity. But yeah, I think Nisbet is getting a little bit frustrated. There's been plenty of movement and enough half decent crosses, nothing brilliant yet, but he just hasn't been found.
Free kick to Raith Rovers in the centre circle. They've thrown bodies forward and they do win the header. I think it was O'Connor who got to it, but straight behind for a goal kick, and no trouble there for Dimitar Mitov, who will be welcoming of a quiet period there after a couple of early scares, after Raith Rovers had responded well to the early setback of Jack Milne's goal, which still separates the sides with 10 minutes left in the half. Polvara out to the left hand side to Clarkson. Gyamfi's gone in field, he's stumbled but manages to play it off Brown, and it will be an Aberdeen throw in left hand side just inside their own half. Dougie Imrie collects the ball and hands it to Leighton Clarkson. Gyamfi's boot has come off here, so a slight pause here for him to put it back on.
Just on the pitch, Al, that's as poor as I've seen Pittodrie for some time. I don't know why. I don't know.
Is it undersoil heating? Did they put undersoil heating for one of the games?
Might have been, yeah, might have been.
Because sometimes it dries it, doesn't it, and it then starts to crust up a little bit, and then obviously, because it does look quite bare, doesn't it? In bits?
It does. It's been in really good condition throughout the winter for the last, I would say, 2-3 seasons, but it's not looking great today, that's for sure.
9,525 inside Pittodrie, which is it's not a massive crowd by their standards certainly, but there's a reflection of how things have been going perhaps of late. As Ray fires it long, Clarkson gets his head to it but goes back the way. Milne helps it back on. Brown had dispossessed Aberdeen, but there was a free kick given for something I couldn't actually see because of the stanchion in front of me. but perhaps the guys who are slightly to my left had a better view of what Brown was penalised for there.
I think it was handball. I think Clarkson's tried to do the hard thing in the middle of the pitch and flick it over his head. Doesn't quite catch it. I'm not quite sure. It's actually deliberate. It's actually looked like it's hit his hip. So I think he's got away with that one.
Aberdeen have it. It's Polvara down the left-hand side. Rowe is there though to nod it down to Mullen. Mullen plays it off Cameron and buys the throw-in on this near side for the visitors. We'll be hoping if they can get a goal before the interval to take them in on level terms. They've got a throw in here about 15 yards inside their own half on the right hand side. Forward it comes, Polvara beating Hamilton in the jump on that occasion. It hasn't won too many against him in the air. Raith Rovers pick up, Doherty out to Wilson, left hand side midway inside the Aberdeen half, forward for Doherty once more, playing in that slightly more advanced position in recent games. Decent ball into the box as well, and Milne did enough to cut it out, and Aberdeen again will try and come on the counter. Keskinen's pacey, but Rowe's got enough in the tank to get there before him, and turns away from him well, the full back. Keskinen's getting back at him. Rowe tries to roll it back to Brown as well, to poke that to O'Connor before Nisbet could close him down. And then Doherty back to his goalkeeper Josh Ray, who first time plays it up towards the halfway line. Mullen will go and try and control it, but it's a poor control from him, and Cameron picks up now on the left hand side up towards the penalty area. It's Gyamfi now at the byline, left hand side, stands up to the back post, but there's no one arriving there. Armstrong will eventually get there, does well to lift that back to Devlin, but just too much on it for him to control. And now Dylan Easton picks up and moves away from Cameron, finds Scott Brown out to the right hand side from Mullen. It's end to end at the moment. Raith Rovers looking for an equaliser here. It's Mullen on the right hand side, slips it forward for Brown. Brown just managing to keep it in under pressure, plays it off Devlin, who's come across to this left hand side to stop Raith Rovers there, and it's out for a throw into Dougie Emery's side. Josh Mullen preparing to take, but pretty much in line actually with the 18-yard box here. He's going to leave it for Jairo to come across and take it, the English fullback. I'm not sure if he's got a long throw in him or if this is just going to be played shorter. Dylan Easton looking to try and lose his marker here, so too Mullen. It goes into the feet of Mullen, back with Rowe, squeezes it down the line again looking for Mullen, but that's come off Clarkson and out for another throw in just a couple of yards further forward. Into Easton it goes this time, back with Rowe again, and Easton once more, and then Doherty gets it to Scott Brown on the edge of the area. Could be an opportunity here for Wilson. Oh, he slips it in an inopportune moment, and he swipes it well off target. He's claiming it took a nick on its way through, but that slip just allowed Aberdeen to close him down. Otherwise he might have got a decent shot away. As it was, he was always rushing it and he was never set, and it remains Aberdeen 1, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, you know, it looks a little bit wet where it was over in that side, the far side there. The pitch is maybe about 25 yards out. There's Wilson, and he sets it up particularly well for himself, but his feet goes away from him, and that allowed an Aberdeen defender to get in front, and the shot itself had plenty of power but no direction.
Keskinen's done well, but Armstrong I don't think will latch on to that before Hanlon gets back to get it to Josh Ray. Hanlon, the Scottish Cup winner of course a decade ago. Now it's Brown in the middle of the park. Raith Rovers have given a good account of themselves for sure, because they were certainly second best in the opening 10 minutes, and Aberdeen got that early goal, and you kind of feared for Raith Rovers at that stage, but they've definitely come back into it as an attacking force, and here they come once more looking for that goal before the break to make it one apiece. It's Brown, plays it square for Doherty, about 10 yards inside the Aberdeen half, tries to move away from Cameron, out to the left hand side for Wilson, who prods it forward for Doherty once more, still on the left. There's Doherty, swings it into the box, good header by Polvara. Easton can't control it, but Rowe gets it back to him. Now it's Mullen into the box, might fall for Wilson, not quite. Claims from the Raith fans for a penalty, but I don't think there was ever any danger of that.
Yeah, Aberdeen have been, for me, sloppy in possession. Really, they've given Raith a wee lifeline in this game. I think they've been quite careless in possession. They're trying a lot of hard things, there's a poor header actually in Polvara right down onto the foot. I think it was Easton. He'd expect to do better from there, but Raith Rovers are growing in confidence in this game. Dylan Easton's the one player he's actually getting on the ball for Raith Rovers. He's the one that starts the counter-attack. He's the one who builds the play in sort of the final third. Again, there he's just won a corner for Raith Rovers.
Yeah, he has. Over on the far side, it's Josh Millen who's trotting out to take this one. Raith left. Mullen with the right foot will swing this one in and try and put pressure here on Dimitar Mitov and his back line. Andy Winter's going to stand right on the keeper to try and make life as awkward as possible for him. Gyamfi comes in to try and help his keeper, and it comes from Mullen. It is right on top of the keeper. He gets a punch. It's Wilson. Oh, it's a brilliant block in there. Is that Nisbet who got it? No, it's Devlin who got out to block it. Oh, he's stunned by that. He's slowly got to his feet and trying to get forward as Aberdeen clear their lines, but what a block that was. Here come Raith Rovers again though. It's Winter left hand side cutting in on his right foot. Now it's Mullen, edge of the box, tries to curl one, but it's straight at Dimitar Mitov with just a couple of minutes left in the half, and Devlin's gone down, and I'm not particularly surprised because it was such ferocity that Wilson got hold of the shot that time, and Devlin was out to block him, and just from 2 or 3 yards away he took the full brunt of it, but probably saved his side an equaliser there.
Yeah, he does that so well, Devlin. You know, he identifies the danger and he reacts, you know, really quickly. I mean, and you're only talking about what is it, about 12 yards or so out. For Wilson, it's a great opportunity for him, and the full-back and captain has put his body in front of it, but he does read these situations so well. You know, does Nicky Devlin.
Not a convincing punch again. There's a cross game in the box. Not a convincing punch. You can actually see the set-up. Aberdeen, I think it was Gyamfi and Armstrong deliberating who was going to pick Wilson up on the edge of the box there. Neither did. You know, and I think the two guys in the edge of the box weren't quite doing their jobs. They're just marking one player. They had to split that a little bit. It was a great opportunity for Raith Rovers to get back in the game. But all credit to Devlin there. I thought was defended really bravely.
Yeah, he put his body on the line for the team there for sure, as Andy Winter just takes the throw in and puts it straight out of play to give the ball back to Aberdeen, who'd had to put it out for treatment to Nicky Devlin. So in the final minute of the opening 45, not sure quite how much we're going to have added on. Not a great deal, I wouldn't imagine. 1 or 2 maybe, as Mitov takes the goal kick. Doherty can't return it, but eventually Raith Rovers play it forward. Milne, the goal scorer, just knocks it out of play over on the far side, and it'll be a Raith Rovers throw-in midway inside their own half to be taken by Wilson, who certainly got a hold of that shot, having had an effort just a few minutes before that. It flew well off target because he slipped just prior to hitting it, but he was better set for that second effort. A couple of minutes added on. We're just into that just now as Aberdeen come forward, but the pass for Keskinen wasn't accurate enough, and Rose able to knock it out of play over on the far side. Into injury time now then. Aberdeen leading by a 1-0, scored in the 9th minute by Jack Milne, his first for the club. A young man who did start the Scottish Cup final, having barely started all season, but barely played in fact all last season, but he's been a fixture at the heart of the Aberdeen defence this season. The ball played just behind Nisbet, but he's able to play it back to Clarkson on the halfway line. Clarkson plays it square to Polvara. Cross comes Hamilton to close him down, but Polvara gets the pass off to Keskinen now, left hand side up against Mullen on the angle of the box. Bit of room here for Armstrong. Armstrong sends it to the back post. Wilson's there to head it before Devlin can get there. Picked up by Clarkson. Thought about the shot. Thinks better of it. Gets it out to the left hand side instead for Keskinen. Keskinen left of the box. Roll back pedaling. Gets the shot away. And it's straight at Josh Ray, who had to be careful. He didn't let that slip from his grasp, but he does well, the keeper, to keep a hold of it. It wasn't the cleanest effort in the end from Keskinen, but it is a shot on target, and it does remain Aberdeen 1, Raith Rovers 0.
And it was straight at Ray as well. It was quite an easy take in my opinion. You know, Keskinen coming to the inside, and you know he's comfortable taking it on the right foot, but it's not a powerful enough strike, is it? Plus there's no direction, you know, on it either. It's got to be flashed towards the back post.
Polvara stops the ball forward to Hamilton, but Hamilton picks up in the seconds, and now he gets it back to Easton, left hand side, up against Polvara here, looking to take him on, but a good challenge by the auxiliary centre back, and then there's a foul by Easton over there on Milanovic. So Aberdeen will have the free kick. The 2 minutes of injury time are up, signalled by the whistle from the referee Kevin Clancy, and Aberdeen applauded off, and that's not been a regular occurrence in recent times, but they do go in a goal to the goods after a positive start to the game, and the pressure early on paid off from the corner kick from the left hand side, sent in by Lyle Cameron to the near post, glanced towards the back post by I think Paul Vara, who got the head to it initially, and then it was bundled in really by Jack Milne, the other centre back, as the goalkeeper Josh Raith perhaps didn't cover himself in glory with it, and in the end it comes off Milne and goes into the back of the net, and Aberdeen have the lead after 9 minutes. Raith Rovers did respond pretty well. They didn't buckle at that stage, and they forced a couple of real scares at the back for Aberdeen in quick succession. The biggest of which I think was the Clarkson back pass to Mitov, which was a kind of lofted towards the goalkeeper, and Mitov took a poor first touch which took it back towards his own goal, but he was able to get a second touch more or less right on the goal line to hook it clear. That after the previous one was the back heel from Polvara inside his own penalty area to Mitov, that Mitov was able to push away before any Raith Rovers player could get there. Just a couple of minutes before the interval, Raith Rovers' final chance of the half was a corner kick routine as well. Mitov's punch didn't get a great deal of distance on it, fell to Wilson about 14 yards out. He hammered it goalwards, looked like it might well have been on target, but for Nicky Devlin getting himself in the way of it, very bravely taking a sore one for the team, but preventing an equaliser at that point. And so at half time in this Scottish Cup 4th round tie, it's the defending champions of this competition, Aberdeen 1, Raith Rovers 0.
Aberdeen versus Raith Rovers.
This is Sports Sound. The Scottish Cup lives here.
This is our BBC.
A nice bright start to the day for many of us now.
It could take us anywhere.
I hear we're going down the beach.
Raise questions.
So let's try and join all the dots.
Bring us down to earth.
Floating in a spacesuit.
We can share it with others.
Joining us live at the Royal Albert Hall.
Raising billions.
Children Need are going to help so many people with that money.
Drawing millions of people.
Other creatures are also listening.
Building our future.
The BBC has put £5 billion into the economy.
There's a BBC for each of us, funded by all of us. This is our BBC.
This is Sports and live on BBC Radio Scotland. 1-0 for Aberdeen at half-time. Jack Milne with the only goal thus far. 5:30 kick-off at Rugby Park, Auchinleck Talbot against Celtic. We'll have full live commentary of that. There's action in the women's game this afternoon already. Partick Thistle 0, Glasgow City 3, a win for the league leaders. Amy Adamson getting a couple of those. Glasgow City 10 points clear of Rangers at the top of the table. Rangers take on Aberdeen at 4:10. It's Motherwell Celtic at 4 o'clock. Scottish Cup women in action as well. Aberdeen 1, Montrose 2, so a win for Montrose, who will take on Dundee United in the quarter-finals. Armadale take on Stenhousemuir in the other tie. The winner of that one will ultimately have the thankless task of facing Glasgow City in the last 8. One game in England's currently underway midway through the second half. Wolves 0, Newcastle United 0. Sports scene highlights, Scottish Cup highlights tonight on BBC One Scotland. That's at 10:30, so the best of the action from today's two games. And of course, if you've missed the highlights from yesterday, you'll get that on the programme as well. Busy week ahead. There's a live Premiership action on Sports, and on Tuesday the rearranged game between Livingston and St Mirren, and then Thursday Celtic and Rangers back in Europa League action. Celtic taking on Auchinleck this afternoon, and then Bologna on Thursday night. Rangers will be at home to Ludogorets. So plenty in the week ahead, plenty still to come today. We're with you through until, well, certainly around 8 o'clock. We'll have the draw later for the 5th round of this season's Scottish Cup. As things stand, Aberdeen will be in that draw. But it has been a first half, Willie Miller, not without a few scares for the home side and for the holders.
Yeah, some poor defending, Richard. Some kind of a defending that lacks confidence and understanding, between the two centre backs, the goalkeeper. And Raith have had their opportunities, maybe 3 I would put down to them. So, they're still very much in this game. And Aberdeen, although taking that early lead through, Jack Milne came off his body. I mean, we've watched a few replays here. Didn't seem to hit his arm, but that's obviously what they were checking for. And the goal stood for the young centre back. He's first for the club as well. So it was a really good start from Aberdeen, and they have looked threatening. Keskinen, again, for me, he seems to always look threatening, but it doesn't seem to produce much from the threats that he poses, and that's his big problem. If he could just that final ball, the final decision making, if he could just brush up in that and make it better, because he is a positive player and very difficult to handle, and he wants to take defenders on constantly. Milanovic hasn't done as much down the other side, and Nisbet has hardly had a kick of the ball. As Callum pointed out, he looks a kind of a frustrated figure out there, but defensively there's been errors, and Aberdeen are very fortunate that Raith Rovers haven't been able to take advantage of the errors and it's been self-inflicted as well. It's been Devlin's been involved, Volvara, Mitov as well with that Clarkson. Poor punch, Clarkson too. I mean, see that was never a ball that would have been played back in the day. Now, I don't want to take you a walk down memory lane, but you just don't play that. It's just such a negative pass, and I don't know why a goalkeeper wants to play the ball straight at Clarkson, who doesn't know. I think he's got an idea that he's tightly marked, and he was tightly marked, and it's just round about the 18 yard, and it's the pitch is in a poor state as well, Richard. It's very bumpy round about where Clarkson's trying to play it back, and he's very fortunate that Mitov manages to get back and keeps it out the goal. So 3 good opportunities, self-inflicted opportunities gifted, I would suggest, to Raith Rovers, and Aberdeen, although they've got that first goal and they look threatening, but it just seems to, whenever they get into a threatening position, they're not finding this. But I mean, I don't think any of the crosses into the box has actually reached Kevin Nisbet or any of the players that have been supporting. I don't think the midfield are that type of supporting midfield. Certainly they're not getting themselves up beside Nisbet whenever crosses come in. So it's still on the knife edge here. I think Raith Rovers are still very much in this game.
Yeah, just in terms of that passage of play, I mean, Lyle Cameron is the one who certainly has proved in the past that he's more than capable of backing up and getting in there to support the strikers. But I mean, there's been deficiencies for Aberdeen at both ends of the park, Callum. There's been some excellent defending. You could say Jack Milne had one very important interception. There was a superb block by Nicky Devlin as well. But over the piece, do you think Dougie Imrie is going to be pretty happy with what he's got from his team so far and the issues, the problems they've caused Aberdeen?
Yeah, definitely. I think they'll be really pleased after the start. I think Aberdeen started really well, and then it's always that sort of 10 minutes after you concede the goal. I think they reacted well, albeit a little bit of help from Aberdeen. They gave them a little bit of lift to stay in the game, stay in the tie. You can see the avenues where they're going to get joy. They're going to get joy from crossing the box. They're going to get joy from more direct play up to Hamilton and then play off them. I think Aberdeen need to sort that. They need to be more aggressive with them. I think he's sort of managed to dictate to them rather than the other way around. And then I think the more that the game's going on, the more they've got Dylan Easton on the ball, and he's the one player who can make things happen. He will hold on to the ball, he will create chances, he will play the right pass. So I think he'll be quite pleased. He'll be pleased he's still in the tie. He can see a little bit of vulnerability from Aberdeen, so that'll give him, that'll give him hope. I think Aberdeen have been, as Willie said, they have been threatening without really being really clinical in the final third. Aberdeen, obviously, when they're actually switching the play against Raith Rovers, get a lot of joy, but they haven't done enough for me. Clarkson's the one in there who's got to be more efficient with the ball. He's trying too many difficult things. But as far as Raith are concerned, I think they'll be going in there saying, right, we're still in this tie. Dougie will be saying to them, right, we've got to keep doing what we're doing the last 20 minutes. We've got to make sure we ask them questions. They will counter, they will try and spring on us. We've got to deal with that in the wide areas. If we can do that, then we'll get a foothold in the game and we'll get our chances. And I think he'll be quite pleased. It's a tough place to come up and play, and play against a team. Even it's a long way to come up and perform, and I think they perform quite well.
The longer it goes, I mean, clearly Raith would love to get back on level, at the very least on level terms, will they? But the longer it goes at 1-0, you just know that the nerves are going to intensify around the stadium, the home support, the Aberdeen players, because of the run they've been on. As much as anything, is this, from Raith Rovers' point of view, is about staying in the game in the early part of the second half, scoring if they can, but otherwise staying in the game?
I think it's very much the case, Richard. I think you want to take this as far as you can. Obviously they'll be looking, and they have looked threatening. I think Dougie Emery has got them in a kind of a positive frame of mind, and they have caused Aberdeen issues, and they've been playing quite a high line. They've certainly put the Aberdeen defence under pressure when the back four's trying to build the game up from deep in their own half. So I think he'll hope that they continue to do that, continue to be a threat. He'll be saying that they're a little bit unlucky, I feel, in the first half, maybe not to find the back of the net. I think he'll be saying that to them at half time, and he'll have them going back out just doing what they've been doing in the first half. And I think if they keep doing that, and as you said, the longer this game goes on at 1-0, you can just imagine whenever there's bad passes or the fans are getting frustrated and it's still the same scoreline, then it's then going to test the character of the Aberdeen players, and whether they're strong enough to stand up to that kind of a pressure. Time will only tell if it goes that way. On the other hand, Aberdeen will be looking to turn the threats that they have, particularly down this left-hand side with Keskinen. I think he is a real threat, against Rowe. I think he's got the making of him. I think he's got better pace than him. It's just when he gets there, he's got to be more intelligent with the use of the ball. And they've got to try and find Kevin Nisbet. Colin said that he's making good runs, and he's on the move quite considerably. They need more support from midfield as well. Lyle Cameron, Stuart Armstrong, these two should be looking to get in the box. I don't think they're making enough effort to get in the box. So from an Aberdeen point of view, they need that second goal. I think if they get the second goal, it'll settle them down. But the longer it goes at 1-0, the more belief that I think Raith Rovers will have. And it's belief that they've shown that they've had belief in what they're trying to do, and they have created opportunities. So I feel that Dougie Emery will be pointing that out pretty forcibly to them, that they've came to Pittodrie and they've created opportunities. They're a bit unlucky to be 1-0 down at half time.
Do you anticipate, Callum, that Aberdeen, that Peter Leaven might look to make offensive changes in the second half? You've both touched on Keskinen, but Milanovic has done next to nothing, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think it's one he'll probably give it 15 minutes. I think obviously Cameron, I'm not sure actually how much game time he's actually had. You can see a little bit, probably not quite as sharp as he normally is. So I think he'll definitely he'll go to the bench. He'll probably go to the bench a little bit earlier as well to make sure the energy stays there. I think it's important. They've actually worked quite hard Aberdeen without the ball. The times that Raith are trying to keep it, they've actually tried to press quite quickly and quite high up and quite aggressively. So yeah, I think he'll utilise the subs. Whether or not he'll do it straight away, I think he'll probably leave it 15 minutes, see where it is. I think Willie's already touched on it. I think it's that quality for me in the final first. I think he'll be a bit more composed and a little bit more pin Raith Rovers in there. Too many times Raith have actually cleared the lines and then gone and attacked Aberdeen. I think it's something they need to switch on to. Can they pin Raith in and create more periods of pressure? From that, then they'll get obviously more opportunities. It's a wee bit like a game of basketball. The game's swinging a wee bit. It's a good game to watch, a really entertaining game. So I think those little things there would help Aberdeen. For me, they need to get the ball into Nisbet's feet, especially in the final third, because he's the guy that can twist, he can turn, he can play people in. Then he can get Armstrong, then he can get Cameron making those runs in better areas of the pitch where they can then go and create chances. But for me, too many times they're ignoring them, and you need to get the ball into him, and I think that'll cause Raith a little bit more problems, because it'll shift their back four and it'll shift their centre halves, and then there'll be gaps will open up.
Now, Aberdeen just will absolutely desperately hope to get through this one. The last thing they need in the wake of what has been a really poor run in the Premiership is to see their defence of the Scottish Cup come to a shuddering halt at the first time of asking. Raith Rovers 1-0 down, but causing plenty problems for the holders. The draw for the fifth round will be much later on. That will be after Auchinleck Talbot against Celtic. That's a 5:30 start, so we're anticipating the draw for the fifth round maybe round about 20 to 8 or so. If you're still involved, your side's still involved, you'll find out who they are playing. We'll have that draw for you live a little bit later on. And you can watch all the Scottish Cup highlights, as I mentioned. BBC One Scotland tonight at 10:30 for Sports Scene. There's also a Sports Scene next Friday night. The Championship Live, Arbroath against Greenock Morton. There's the European action I mentioned live on Thursday on Sports Sound. Premiership action, Livingston St Mirren live on Tuesday night on Sports Sound. And do listen out for the Scottish Football Daily podcast. That is published Monday to Friday. You can subscribe wherever you pick up your podcasts. As ever, comprehensive coverage right across Scottish football here on Sports Sounds, BBC Radio Scotland, the various other outlets, and online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. The lineup for the 5th round of this season's Scottish Cup is being assembled game by game. We will, over the next 45 minutes or potentially even longer, find out the next team to get through. It is Aberdeen against Raith Rovers. 1-0 the Dons as we rejoin our commentary team of Callum Davidson, Willie Miller and Al Lamont.
Thanks again, Rich. Mitchell Frame has come on for Aberdeen at left back in place of Emmanuel Gyamfi. The young man signed from Celtic in the summer. As Leighton Clarkson gets us back underway, Aberdeen going from left to right in this second half as we look at it from the back of the main stand. Aberdeen leading by a goal to nil and looking to start this second half in the same manner as they started the first, on the front foot, as Devlin picks up and finds Clarkson. Clarkson going back the way to Polvara and into the feet of Armstrong, closely marshalled by Scott Brown. No changes in the Raith Rovers ranks as yet, as the ball comes out to Milanovic, right hand side, up against Wilson here, advancing, and then flicks it in just behind Leighton Clarkson, who was on the move, out for an Aberdeen throw-in. And this near side, the Aberdeen right.
Really, I'd like to see Milanovic to be a bit tidier with the ball. There's a lot of flicking, isn't there?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing much of him. He's got a great left foot, but sometimes Cameron's made a great run there. He's just got a side foot pass and roll him in and behind.
Here's Nisbet. It's a good ball for Devlin. Devlin fires it into the box. He's near post, keeps it out. It was Milanovic, I think, just got a slight nick on it on its way through there, as Devlin fired a brilliant ball in from the right hand side, and Ray had to react quickly as Polvara goes in there on Scott Brown. The referee dishes out the yellow card to the American, and it'll be a free kick to Raith Rovers. Brown's still down, but that was a good bit of goalkeeping. He had to be alert at his near post there, Josh Ray, to ensure that didn't sneak in.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was Nisbet had the wee link play, the wee through pass there into Devlin. Milanovic has carried on his run, and he had to be alive there to keep that out the net. With the tackle there, Polvara, I think a little bit of frustration again. Hamilton's won that first contact. He's kept the ball, and then he's caused Polvara to dive in and give away a free kick and a yellow card.
Yep, at Aberdeen, close to a second goal right at the start of the second period there. But Josh Ray ensuring it didn't creep into his near post. And he takes the free kick more or less up at the halfway line, launches that into the Aberdeen box. It's Polvara who gets his head to it. Raith Rovers trying to keep it alive though at the edge. Clarkson pokes it clear, picked up by Doherty. Doherty right hand side, up back into the box. It comes off Frame, who manages to pick up the second ball and then gets it clear. And Raith Rovers pick up again at the halfway line. Brown's recovered from that Polvara challenge and back involved. Over on the right hand side, it's Mullen. Mullen fires it in, it's just behind Hamilton. Devlin gets it clear, but Brown picks up again. Raith Rovers replying here to that bright Aberdeen start. Wilson sends it into the edge of the box. Mullen trying to pick up here, just nudges it back to Brown. Brown can hit them from distance, and he does hit that, but it's well off target. Always swerving in the opposite direction from which he intended, away from goal, and well off target in the end. And it's still Aberdeen 1, Raith Rovers 0.
I think you see Dougie's instructions, put the ball in the box. I think there's a couple of chances they could have played, and they've just both whipped the ball. I think it's Mullen one side and Wilson the other side. They've just put the ball straight in the box.
And here come Aberdeen down the right hand side. Clarkson, well challenged though by veteran Hanlon. Clarkson's managed to get it back. And now it's Armstrong on the halfway line coming forward. That's a lovely ball out to the left-hand side for Frame. Frame in field to Keskinen. Keskinen 25 yards from goal, goes for goal, and it comes off the head of Darragh O'Connor and behind for an Aberdeen corner.
It's a decent strike from Keskinen, get plenty of power on it on that occasion. I don't think that it would have beaten Ray in goal though, but O'Connor getting his head in front of it, giving away a corner, and Lyle Cameron back out there to take the corner from the left-hand side.
Yes, he is. Cameron over on that far side, swings it into the 6-yard box. Rose able to get the ball clear unchallenged there at the edge. Winter gets something on it. Easton back to Brown. Brown will try and release Mullen here. Mitchell Frame with him. Frame just knocks it out of play. Safety first there from the young fullback. Throw into Raith Rovers just inside the Aberdeen half.
Frustration thing there. Keskin edge of the box. He's got no chance to win the ball, and he takes himself out the game, and then it allows then Raith Rovers to build an attack. He's just got to just hold his position. If he can't win it, he can't just dive in and take himself out the game on the edge of the box. That's his job there. These little things are so important in games.
Ball's out on the far side for an Aberdeen throw in. As Polvara gets it to Devlin, midway inside his own half, out to the right hand side to Milanovic, quickly closed down by Wilson, back the way to Milne, scorer of the only goal in the game so far. We've played 50 and the cup holders still in front. Here's Frame in field to another former Celtic player and Scottish Cup winner with them, Stuart Armstrong. Cameron gets it back to Devlin, and now Milanovic right hand side up at the angle of the box, looks for Armstrong, holds off the challenger Hanlon, back to Cameron, swings it in, away by Doherty, and now Brown still inside his own box, back to Hanlon. Hanlon closed down by Cameron but gets the ball clear up to the halfway line. Milne for Clarkson and back with Polvara. Polvara just turns it back to Mitov at the edge of his own area, and then he rolls it out to Milne once more.
I think Aberdeen had a wee tweak in their system. Armstrong, when they're building play, I've been watching it, he's actually dropping as a 2 with Clarkson, and he's actually trying to drag one of the Brown or Doherty, I think it is, out of position. Then Cameron's playing a little bit higher up. Armstrong's played a couple of really good passes to get Aberdeen in attack.
Milne plays it square to Polvara, just inside his own half. Forward it goes to...
It looks as though Cameron's playing like a number 10 now, doesn't it? You know, just off of Nisbet.
It'll just cause Raith Rovers a few more problems. I think it was easy, obviously a bit man for man. First half, we're just asking a few more questions of the Raith Rovers sort of defensive unit.
Keskinen has it, Frame's close to him on the left hand side. Here is Cameron picking up, back to Keskinen, and now it's Frame. Forward looking for Keskinen again, but overhit pass and behind for a goal kick to Aberdeen. 52 almost played here. Aberdeen leading by a solitary goal to nil as some of the Raith Rovers subs go out to warm up, and no doubt Dougie will be thinking about changes as he tries to get back into the game at some point, but still very much in it right at the moment. Just a couple of defeats since he took over Dougie Imrie at Raith Rovers, having made the move from Morton, where he'd served them very well on a number of years. Milne gets his head to the ball at the back for Aberdeen, knocks it out of play on the far side for a Raith Rovers throw, and a really good contingent made their way from Kirkcaldy for this one. Good couple of thousand, I would say, over in the stand over on the far side, and there's team battling away here looking for an equaliser.
They are battling away, aren't they? I mean, you know, they're showing a great attitude, Raith Rovers. Dougie Imrie has got them certainly up for the game. You know, I think they lack a bit of quality, but at the same time, there's no taking away from the fact that there's plenty energy, grit, determination out there, and they're still in this game. Believe me, they're still in this game, and if they could get that equaliser, then you would kind of a fear a little bit for Aberdeen, and whether they're strong enough to stand up to that sort of a pressure that would be put on them then.
Here's Easton, midway inside the Aberdeen half, right hand side is Mullen, tries to squeeze it down the line for Rowe. Cross comes Armstrong, and takes the ball off him and then slides it forward for Keskinen, who just keeps it in play, and he's accelerating forward now. Challenged here by Doherty. He's done exceptionally well to get back there and win it, and then holds off Cameron to get the ball to Mullen on the right hand side. Back into Doherty, still in play once more. Duguay wants the ball played out to this left hand side, but they work it down the right to Mullen. Mullen flashes it in, but it's too close to Mitov, and Hamilton making his way into the box, but the keeper took that decisively and bowls it out overarm to Cameron, who's taken down by Rowe. I think that might be the first Raith Rovers booking, is it? No, is it just a word from the referee for Jai Rowe on this occasion? Yeah, looks like he's settling for that, but yeah, it was a promising Raith Rovers attack, and they're by no means out of this, Callum Davison.
No, I definitely agree with you there. I think, again, you expect Aberdeen to start the second half with a bit of energy, a wee bit of zip, and then same as the kind of sort of pattern as the first half. Raith are sort of slowly coming back into the game.
Out to the left it goes for Keskinen, takes it down in the chest, and the angle of the box. He's just got Rowe to beat here, but Rowe's held him up well. Back it goes to Frame, he puts it into the box. Big claims for a handball there. Nisbet among them, but certainly the crowd around about us as Nisbet didn't get a clean header on it, came off the defender. Looked to me initially like it was just off the chest, but it was at very close proximity.
I thought it hit his hand. I thought it hit Wilson's hand. Wasn't deliberate, that's for sure. Can you see it? We're getting a little replay. I don't know if you saw that. Callum.
No, I don't think it was.
No.
I think it'd be quite harsh. I think it was only like a yard away. I think it's one of those difficult ones, isn't it? But obviously he's gone to VAR quickly there. They've actually checked that one really quickly.
Very quickly cleared that, didn't they? Anyway, it is though now a free kick to Aberdeen right hand side to be taken here by the on loan Lyle Cameron. Sends it in, Hanlon gets his head to it just on the edge of the 6-yard box. Mullen then helps it on, brought down by Armstrong. He flips it out to this right hand side to Cameron once again. He moves away from Winter, driving towards the edge of the box. Still Lyle Cameron going, tries to get the shot away. He's just crowded out in the end as Raith Rovers managed to pick up here through Wilson, who fires it forward looking for Hamilton. Out of play from Polvara. Duguay wants to throw in, taken quickly. Josh Mullen in the end decides not to do so, as Aberdeen are going to make a couple of changes here actually, as Milanovic comes off and on will come Jesper Karlsson, and Graham Shinney's also coming on here for Stuart Armstrong in the midfield. So Aberdeen definitely probably change of shape there, as we talked about earlier. Probably Shinney will play alongside Clarkson in a 2, and it looks like Cameron's going to just play in behind Nisbet. So Aberdeen making the changes. Raith Rovers not so far, as they take the throw down the left hand side. It's Wilson, it's headed away by Devlin. Easton loses out, and Clarkson, he's given that to Jai Rowe though, inside the Aberdeen half. Across goes Karlsson to close him down. Willie and I were admiring some of Karlsson's flicks and tricks in the warm-up as that ball's played forward, missed by Hanlon. Now it's Nisbet up towards the penalty area, gets the shot away, down goes Ray, saves it. Shinney can't get the rebound. Nisbet, big chance here for Aberdeen, and it's Karlsson who has his shot fired over the top, blocked by Doherty, got back and in the way, but that was a huge opportunity for Aberdeen to perhaps put this tie beyond Raith Rovers.
I think you're looking at Karlsson taking that one first time. He does take the touch, but once you take the touch and steady yourself, you've got to be able to pick the spot. Nisbet does so well to set him up. There's bodies back as well. It's not as easy a chance as the fans seem to think, but for me, if he's on and he's warmed up, he takes that first time.
In comes the corner, glance towards goal by Polvara and deflected behind. It was O'Connor who managed to make the block as Polvara tried the glancing header at the near post, as Aberdeen apply the pressure here, looking for that second goal.
Yeah, fantastic ball again from Cameron there, and Polvara gets on the end of it. Good defending, chucks his body on the line. A couple of great chances for Aberdeen to put this game to bed,
but none of them taken, as Cameron will try once more from the left. Again, it's a near post ball. It's met by Doherty and then helped away by Wilson out to this near side and out for a throw in. Good pressure at the moment from Aberdeen. Shinney out here to take the throw in, but there's a stoppage. Kevin Clancy, no, he's just waving things on now. Thought someone was being checked, but if it was quickly cleared. Aberdeen have possession through Milne, gets it back from Clarkson. He'll go back to his keeper here. Quick flurry there of Aberdeen chances to get that second goal. Nisbet denied by Ray, and then on the rebound picking out Carlson, whose shot was diverted over the top by Doherty, and then Polvara's header blocked by O'Connor. Raith Rovers working hard to keep themselves in this game.
That's what Willoughby talked about. That's the high pressure. They're squeezing man for man, and Mitov's got to make better decisions than that. He's got to just go and miss them out. He's put Jack Millen under a little bit of pressure, and a wee mistake there could have cost him.
Aberdeen have it. It's Leighton Clarkson out to the right hand side for Keskinen here. Keskinen swings it in, decent looking ball. Hanlon clear as far as Cameron. He can't keep it though. Swiped high in the air by Wilson. It's going to come down for Frame here. Frame for Carlson, new left hand side for Aberdeen. Keskinen now operating on the right. Shinnie midway inside the Raith Rovers half. Back to Polvara. Polvara short ball into Cameron, and now back to the halfway line to Milne. Still Aberdeen have it. Shinnie looking to try and drive Aberdeen forward. Out to the right hand side it comes to Devlin. Back to Clarkson, quick ball into the feet of Keskinen, looks for Devlin. Devlin at the byline, well blocked there by Doherty once more. Linesman points for the corner kick, which I think is the right decision, and Aberdeen will have the corner here on the right hand side.
A good play from Shinnie there. That's that switch of play we talk about, and then a little interchange, that little link in the wide area. You can hear the crowd, that speed of play, you can hear the crowd getting behind the Aberdeen players. So Lyle Cameron will try again, this time from the right hand side. Clarkson's here as a short option, but it's sent in towards the penalty spot by Cameron, cleared as far as Clarkson, who tries a very ambitious volley from about 30 yards on the left foot as he was coming back from goal, and not unsurprisingly it was well off target in the end from the midfielder. So still 1-0 Aberdeen, just beyond the hour mark now. It has been a decent spell this for Aberdeen. They haven't managed to get the second goal. The rain now tipping down in the northeast. It was pretty pleasant at kick-off time, but getting a bit more tricky now. The pitch certainly becoming more slippery as Josh Ray prepares to take this goal kick.
They've got control of the game though, Aberdeen, haven't they, in the second half? I think Raith Rovers struggling to make an impact going forward the way they did in the first half. So it's really down to Aberdeen now with the dominance they've got to get that second goal.
Challenge there by Keskinen on Wilson, and Wilson almost, I think, landing perhaps on Keskinen's arm, but I think too much damage has been done.
I think all credit to the Aberdeen coaching team. They've had a wee tweak in their system. They've had a wee look at it. It was a wee bit like a game of basketball first half, and then they've just dropped two midfielders flat. When they're building, and it's definitely allowed them to get more control of the game.
Hamilton rattled that straight off the face of Nicky Devlin, who's been in the wars this afternoon, but just brushes that off. It'll be a throw-in to Raith Rovers in the halfway line, left hand side, to be taken by Motherwell loanee Ewan Wilson. Brown doing well in the middle of the park, but Easton's given it up to Carlson. Clarkson though with a awkward ball, and Raith Rovers have it back. Mullen doing well to keep it. Good footwork from Mullen, and then Easton plays it back to Brown, who sweeps it out to the right hand side for Rowe. Rowe back to Doherty. Raith Rovers will feel there still might be an opportunity in this game for them. Easton back to Brown, still inside the Aberdeen half, out to the right hand side for Rowe once more, flashes it into the 6-yard box. Good take again by Mitov, who immediately rolls it out underarm to Keskinen, who gets going over the halfway line. Brown's caught him. That's got to be a yellow card. Got to be a yellow card.
Yeah, it has to be a yellow card, doesn't it? I think Brown's committing a couple of fouls as well. I can't believe he's got away with that.
Astonishing decision from Kevin Clancy, who issued Benny Beningame with a yellow card last midweek for a challenge that was, I think, quite clearly a red card offence, which VAR quickly sorted out, to be fair. But Scott Brown, certainly escaping a caution on that occasion. Aberdeen have it. It's Nicky Devlin clipping it forward down the right hand side, glanced on by Clarkson for Keskinen. Keskinen tries the early ball, didn't catch it though, and Willie Miller's adage about his final ball continues to be accurate.
Indeed. It's so frustrating. It must be frustrating for the player, Peter Leaving, his teammates as well, because you got to remember that the teammates are making runs in the box and they're expecting a cross to come in somewhere close to them, and yet again Keskinen just doesn't deliver. Listen, he's got a lot of good points, but that is a point that point is holding him back to be a top quality player, because he's athletic, he gets forward, he's got good pace, he's got a little trick or two as well, but it just can't. So that final ball is just almost every time, 90+% of the time, it's not good enough.
My question is then, at 22, can that still be coached into him? Can he become that next level player?
That's a coach.
Yeah, I think he can. I think he's got a lot of attributes. I think that comes with composure, experience. He's got that energy what a lot of players don't have and you can't give. But I think it's an unbelievable pass by him. So it's definitely there. I think he's just got to have that confidence and that composure.
It's Carlson that he's found with that cross-field ball. It's Carlson cutting in field. It's blocked by Rose. He goes for goal at the edge of the box.
Nisbet's gone mad again. Nisbet's made a brilliant run. He just peeled off the centre half and just to receive it in the feet, about 12 yards out. And again, they go for the wrong option. 65 on the clock, still Aberdeen 1, Raith Rovers 0. You listen to Sports Sound as Clarkson sends it too long, and again Nisbet's got his head in his hands, and that's gone out for a throw-in over on the far side actually, which Raith Rovers will have to take right down at the corner flag, so Aberdeen can keep them hemmed in right up the park. I think it was the right ball by Clarkson. It's the right idea, because Nisbet's actually peeled in between the two, so that was great. A little bit of movement again by him, and he just overhit the cross. Again, like the Carlson one, he was one-on-one with the defender in the box, and that's where he comes alive, but he hasn't really had the service today.
Throw in then deep in Raith Rovers territory, taken by Gyro. Down the line it goes. Aberdeen have won it back though. Lyle Cameron going for goal, blocked by Hanlon, picked up by Devlin. Leighton Clarkson at the edge of the box, deflected wide off Ewan Wilson. Aberdeen corner.
You can feel the goal coming, can't you? You can feel like the pressure's just starting to build on Raith Rovers. They've just got to hang in. They've just got to dig in here for the next 5-10 minutes, make sure they see this little bit out, but Aberdeen are definitely piling on the pressure.
They're looking a little bit flat as well. Raith, they look as though they're kind of a spent at times. Clarkson, I think Clarkson's got to do better with that opportunity.
Cameron from the right hand side onto the penalty spot. Mellon goes for the spectacular overhead kick there, having already notched his first Aberdeen goal this afternoon. He's gone for a spectacular second, but that one didn't quite come off. Polvara went up for the header as well at the same time, and maybe a slight touch from Polvara prevented him from putting the overhead kick in the top corner. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Anyway, it is out for a throw-in over on the far side for Raith Rovers. Aberdeen still with a slender advantage in this Scottish Cup 4th round tie. One more tie to come this afternoon. Auchinleck Talbot against Celtic, the romance of the Cup well and truly alive, although it'd be slightly more romantic if they were playing at their own ground, but had to move it to Rugby Park.
I think you might see a few changes. I think Willie just touched on it there, a wee bit flat. Raith, they may probably look maybe a couple of changes might come from Raith pretty soon, just to maybe give them a wee bit more energy. They've worked really hard in this game to keep it where it is, but probably could do with a wee bit of freshness.
Josh Ray gets that clear just before he's closed down by Nisbet. Frame can only head it to Dylan Easton, who tried to thread it forward but came off the back of Hamilton, and Raith have lost it. It's Keskinen working hard over on the left hand side to try and keep possession, closed down by a couple of Raith Rovers players. It is out for a throw in to Aberdeen. Yeah, certainly a bit of activity in the Raith Rovers technical area. I think we are going to get a couple of changes. In fact, we're going to get them now. So let's see, Kai Montague is going to come on. Certainly Paul McMillan is also stripped, so McMillan will come on for Andy Winter. Winter's been quite quiet, to be fair. And is that Easton that's tripping off here? I'm quite surprised. I mean, Easton, he probably hasn't been as influential as he often is, certainly in the Championship, but he's that player, Callum, who can always, just in a moment, he can make something happen.
Yeah, definitely. It's a surprising one. I think he's one player. It's hard when he doesn't get the ball. I think Aberdeen controlled most of the game in the second half, so I think it's a surprising one. But obviously Montague can play in that. He'll probably play in that position. I think it's McMullen, isn't it? It's come on. He'll play obviously wide. He's got that little bit of pace, that little bit of directness in him. Again, probably for him as well, it's that final ball. Once he gets that quality, he's got the pace.
We saw Paul McMullen's brother earlier in the competition live on BBC Scotland. We had Linlithgow Rose against Queen's Park, and he was fantastic in that game, his younger brother. But it's Paul McMullen who's on here to try and make an impression. But here come Aberdeen. Carlson inside the box, takes it to the right hand side, stands up to the back post. Gyro nods it behind. Again, I just wonder if that was the wrong decision by Carlson to kind of move out to his right rather than go a bit more directly, perhaps open up for a shot himself.
I think she's just going to put it across the box first time.
Yeah.
It's a great move. It's a great ball by Shinnie onto Devlin. Creates intensity. All he's got to do is first time. Again, there's 2 or 3 bodies in the box. He's taken too many touches, and then it's the wrong cross again.
There's a corner though for Aberdeen. Again, it'll be taken by Cameron. Swings it in. That's a dangerous one. Milne's there again. Perhaps should have had a second. Diverts this one wide of the target again. Probably isn't the cleanest connection he makes, but he's getting on the end of these Lyle Cameron corners, which have been on the money for the most part. Milne's annoyed with himself that he couldn't hit the target there.
Yeah, really good delivery from Lyle Cameron. I mean, most of his deliveries have been exactly what you would expect from him. Accurate. I thought that he was a bit uncertain there, Jack Mill, whether it was going to come to him or not. It did come over, and it's kind of hit him round about the thigh. I think he's put it past the post with the thigh, so it's not as if he's been able to adjust his body to get his boot on it.
I think Hanlon's just done enough to put him off, and it's just gone over somebody's head, and he just reacts a little bit slow to it.
There's Brown in the middle of the park for Raith Rovers, gets to McMullen. First opportunity for him to get involved. Out to Mullen, right hand side. It's his attempt to cross his half blocked and then it's sliced up in the air by Milne. It might yet go out for a corner. No, not quite, but it's Mullen who has it, right hand side, down at the corner flag. On that right flank, it's Mitchell Frame who's with him. He's done well to sneak that to Doherty. Mullen tries to pick up on the return ball, just stopped in his tracks there by Shinnie, who fires it down the left and then knocked back in field there by Nisbet. But McMullen's nicked it back there for Raith Rovers, but Keskinen does good work, and then Shinnie takes over in the midfield and tries to get Aberdeen moving forward, and Nisbet just can't quite link with Cameron, and now it's ebbing the other way as Montague picks up, finds Doherty. Good backtracking again by Nisbet though, who's been industrious, trying to get himself involved because he's had precious few moments in front of goal to try and take advantage of. Shinnie's lost it to Jack Hamilton, and now it's Montague trying to feed Doherty down the right. Cross comes Polvara to win it. Raith Rovers doing everything they can to try and get back on level terms. Haven't really been able to test Mitov in this second half, and now Aberdeen have picked up once more, and it's Keskinen who switched back to the left hand side up against Montague, who's going back with him.
Good play by Keskinen there. He's taking the ball for 30-40 yards up the pitch. Now Aberdeen are pinning. They've got them sort of camped in their sort of penalty box. Raith Rovers. Some good play, some really good wing play there by Keskinen.
He's very good at that, ball carrier, getting it from his own half into the opposition, some 30 yards out or so. He's a really good ball carrier, and that's a prime example of it.
Aberdeen have it back in the halfway line. It's Milne square to Polvara and out to the left hand side to Frame, actually making his Aberdeen debut today. He's barely been in the squad as Cameron goes for goal. Low shot straight at Josh Ray. He gathers pretty comfortably, but it's been a pretty promising debut, you'd have to say, for Lyle Cameron here in front of his new Aberdeen supporters.
Yeah, he's adapted to that role. Second half, he's obviously playing as a 10 now. His movement's really good. He's really good at taking the ball on his back foot. Then he can get at players. I think, for me again, it's good that Shinnie's come on. He's given us a driving force. He likes to go forward, Shinnie. He's created that tempo.
Good challenge in the midfield by Doherty on Cameron, but it breaks back to Shinnie, who does try and fire it forward, but Wilson's in the way, and now it's McMullen stepping away from Clarkson. Aberdeen, I think, are going to bring out Shishon pretty shortly. Raith Rovers in possession. 73 on the clock. Aberdeen 1, Raith Rovers 0 in the Scottish Cup 4th round tie. Aberdeen looking to ensure that they progress again. They don't want their title defence to fall at the first hurdle. Raith Rovers though coming forward in search of an equaliser. Shinnie picks up though for Aberdeen in the middle of the park. Plays it short to Clarkson. Now Devlin just inside his own half, steps away from Hamilton and then just touches it back in field to Shinnie. Shinnie to his left to Polvara. Frame's gone very high, but it's out to the left to Keskinen instead. Keskinen up against Mullen here, forcing him back towards his own goal. It's Keskinen on the outside, flashes it across goal. Well, that wasn't too bad a ball,
Come on, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin Nisbet probably got to do more to get on the end of that, no?
Kevin, what a ball that was. I mean, all you have to do is get some kind of a touch on it. Toppy Keskinen producing a magnificent left foot cross. I think why Nisbet doesn't get his head on it.
I think he realises, you can tell by his reaction, you know, I think once it comes in, he probably doesn't expect it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where he should be. It was a fantastic delivery.
Taken by surprise.
I think that's what it was. That's what it seemed to be, because I thought it was a pretty good delivery and Nisbet just was kind of on his heels. Ross Matthews has come on for Jai Rowe, and I think that probably means that Doherty will go back into a defensive role, and Matthews will slot into the midfield. Meanwhile, Aushish has come on for Clarkson for Aberdeen. Both sides making changes. It's going to be a throw in to Raith Rovers deep in their own territory, left hand side, to be taken by Wilson. 15 minutes left here. Aberdeen leading by a goal to nil. Nisbet gets in behind here on the right hand side, held up eventually by Hanlon. Slips it now for Devlin, who checks back away from Hamilton. Now can he pick out a teammate? Comes forward, Keskinen, half blocked by Wilson, and then up goes Ray. Again, if that had just been left by Keskinen, Nisbet was waiting on it to perhaps fire at home. Ray's gone long here. Milne should be in control of the situation. He's taken a touch and then he's closed down by McMullen, and it's a heavy touch, and he just knocked it out of play for a Raith Rovers throw-in down near the corner flag, left hand side. 1-0 Aberdeen.
I think he just got to deal with that one earlier. It's gone over his head.
Yeah.
He just got to take his touch and clear his lines. He's trying to take a touch, then shield out of play. He's miscontrolled it. Now he gives Raith Rovers an opportunity to put the ball in the box.
Yeah, so it's Wilson up in a very advanced position here with the throw-in almost at the corner flag on the left hand side. Raith Rovers looking for a leveller. 76 played. Aberdeen leading by that Jack Milne goal to nil. Wilson drying the ball off before trying to unleash a long throw in here. In it comes towards the near post. Hanlon doing his best to try and flick it on, but Aberdeen have worked it clear. Cameron lashes it long. Matthews takes a touch but then slips, and Keskinen's quickly onto it. Sliding challenge comes in from Montague to knock it out to the right hand side, and then Matthews also recovers and plays it off Keskinen. It will be a Raith Rovers throw-in deep in their own half now, but Matthews trying to get the ball under control in the middle of the park. He just couldn't get his footing at all. Eventually managed to recover.
I don't know what length of studs that they actually wear these days. Callum, you might be able to tell me.
Not long enough,
rubber soles, because you know it's muddy down, particularly in that area where Matthews goes down. He's lost his footing completely.
Doherty gets his head to the ball, helped on by Hamilton, now picked up by Montague on the halfway line, plays it forward for Mullen. Mullen now on the right hand side, he's going to go for goal, it comes off. Polvara, and the Raith Rovers fans encouraged. They've got a corner kick here. The weather out there is absolutely abysmal now. The rain absolutely pouring down. The pitch is getting more and more treacherous, and Raith Rovers trying to make life difficult here for Aberdeen as they try to force a leveller late in this Scottish Cup time, perhaps take it into extra time.
Aberdeen have had enough chances in this game to see the game sort of comfortably out.
In comes the corner from the right hand side, up at Raith Rovers' head, and managed to head it away from goal there. Still have they have possession. It's McMullen looking to get it back into the area. It comes on the turn from Doherty. It's well blocked just inside the Aberdeen box, and Aberdeen will try and counter here. It's Keskinen once more leading that. Brown's taken him to the ground. Has got to be this time. There's no way he can avoid a yellow card this time, and you rather suspect he probably wouldn't have made that challenge if he'd seen the yellow earlier on, but that is him in the referee's book, Scott Brown, on this occasion.
He was away again, Keskinen, wasn't he? And Brown. sees a threat, he knows the threat, and he just takes that little touch in front of Brown and he just wipes him out. So yeah, definite yellow card.
Probably lucky to be still on the pitch, really. I think the other one's a definite pull.
Yeah.
If you pull somebody back, in a promising position, it's always a yellow card, and I just don't understand why the referee. I don't like branching yellow cards, but if that's the rule, it's a yellow card.
Aberdeen have it. We've got just over 11 minutes left in the 90. They lead by a goal to nil, the cup holders. As Callum says, they've had opportunities to put this game to bed. They haven't taken them. Raith Rovers have a couple of chances of their own. Nisbet's done well up against O'Connor here and wins the ball out in the left-hand side. Then he rolls it back into a really strange area. McMullen can't take advantage though. Now Sheesh picks up and gets it out to Carlson, right hand side. Into the area he comes, trying to get the better of Wilson here. Plays it off Wilson and earns the side a corner on the right hand side.
Yeah, he just didn't have enough tricks in his locker there, Carlson, to beat Wilson. Good defending though. And he has a threat. I mean, Carlson has a threat. He's got good pace, he's got good skill, ball control, likes to take players on, likes to have a strike at goal as well. He's kind of went off the boil in the last half dozen games or so.
Lyle Cameron yet again with the corner kick on the right hand side here for Aberdeen. Sends it to the edge of the area. Little bump on Carlson, but it comes to Keskinen. It's blocked inside the penalty area. Milne then on the rebound tries his luck. That's blocked as well. Keskinen retrieves over on the far side, keeps it in, left hand side into the feet of Nisbet, comes back to Keskinen. Keskinen at the near post, saved by Ray, and the referee spotted an infringement in there. He's given Raith Rovers a free kick inside their own area, and it remains after 80 minutes. Aberdeen 1, Raith Rovers 0 as Raith go to the bench again.
I don't understand why doesn't he go for the foul straight away if he thinks it's a free kick? I don't quite get that one.
It's going to be the return of Lewis Vaughan. He's missed a lot of football again with a hamstring issue, but he and Paul and Seo are going to come on. Jack Hamilton and Josh Mullen are going to go off. Raith Rovers looking for an equaliser in the final 10 minutes here to take this into extra time.
I think Hamilton can be pleased with his day's work. I thought he's caused the Aberdeen two centre-halves all sorts of problems. Now also Vaughan come on, he's a wee bit more, I don't say clever, he's a different type of football player to Hamilton. He tries to come off at angles and play things round corners and use his body. So again, a different challenge for the two Aberdeen centre-halves.
Yeah, Vaughan's missed the last 18 games with tendinitis in the hamstring, which is a new one to me. It certainly doesn't sound pleasant, but he's just had such a hellish time with injury over the years. 4 different ACL injuries to still be playing at a good level is quite phenomenal for him, and he's still hopeful of getting 100 goals for Raith Rovers. It's
more the mental side, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really strong mentally and to keep coming back.
Here's Sheesh trying to keep this in on the right hand side. Well intercepted there by Matthews at the expense of a corner to Aberdeen. 8 to play, they still lead by 1-0.
Positive run though from Sheesh. He's just on as well. He's got that energy. Carlson puts him in as well. He just tries to cut it back, but it's good defending. But the corner has been winning. Cameron has been pretty accurate with his deliveries in this game, so he'll be hoping to do the same again.
Here he is from the right hand side. Swings it out the way. It's Polvara who attacked it. It's come all the way out to the left hand side as Aberdeen try and work the opportunity here, and it's into the 6-yard box. Devlin trying to get something on it, claims he was impeded there as he tried to get it, and the referee not interested. Certainly the fans thought he was fouled as well, unsurprisingly, but no penalty, and Raith Rovers come forward. It's a lovely clip ball by McMullen for Brown, and now out to the left hand side, and it's Vaughan into the penalty area. Can he get shot away here? It's through the legs there of Milne, but took enough of the sting out of it and into the arms of Dimitar Mitov. But Raith Rovers hoping they can just get one final opportunity that might bring them the equalising goal with 7 to play. 1-0 Aberdeen lead.
Yeah, great opportunity for Aberdeen at one end, and then about 30 seconds later a great opportunity for Vaughan. He's just coming in off that left hand side. I think he probably expects to do better. I think he's gone through Millen's legs and just rolled into Mitov's hands. But I think earlier, it was Carlson got the ball, and probably about 14-15 yards out, he's got to just lay the pass off. And there's loads of guys in positions to score. He took too many touches again, and Raith Rovers managed to defend it.
He just threatens to to take the strike on, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
that
With
was
his
right.
right foot 3, maybe even 4 times before he decides to then pull the trigger. When, you know, really, set it up for someone else, or if it's on for the strike, take it early.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Aberdeen are going to make another change as well, and it's Sivert Nielsen who's going to come on, and it's Lyle Cameron who's making way. And to be absolutely fair to the Aberdeen crowd, including the fans who held up the banner earlier on, Willie, about no Old Firm loans there, to a man and woman and child standing and applauding Lyle Cameron after a really impressive Aberdeen debut.
Yeah, indeed, it has been impressive. His deliveries have been brilliant, but all round general play, and the banner has now gone as well, so we've just got, thank you Jimmy, banner at the paddock end, the red shed end of the ground. So no, Lyle Cameron can be more than pleased with his day's work.
Yeah, and if he can, well, as Callum was saying, probably sharpen up a little bit, because he's not had a lot of match action recently, but if he can provide more performances like that, then he'll further endear himself to the home crowd as the season goes on. But here's Lewis Vaughan at the other end, clipping it into a dangerous area, and at the back post, well, I think the touch from Montague maybe just took it away at the back post there from was it Doherty who's arriving late at the back post. If it had just missed out Montague, Doherty might have got a clean header in there. As it was, he couldn't direct the header on target.
Yes, Vaughan just causing problems again. He's just drifting away from the centre halves now. He's not up against them, he's just drifted on this left hand side. He's played a lovely reverse ball in, and as you say, I think it was the first contact by Montague. I think if he leaves that, I think Doherty gets on the back end of the back post.
85 on the clock, Aberdeen 1, Raith Rovers 0. Vaughan trying to back in there to Milne, and CO getting involved as well. One man on loan from Rangers.
I don't understand why Milne goes to then he goes with his foot. Well, why don't he just go and head it and clear it? He then tries to take a touch, and again he puts Aberdeen under pressure.
5 minutes to play. Dougie Imrie's side still searching for a leveller as Ewan Wilson takes the throw in down the left hand side, but it's gone straight out of play. Cold hands, slippery ball, doesn't make it easy to take these throw-ins.
No excuse.
You didn't have to take throw-ins, Willie, you just left that to the fullbacks. Nicky Devlin then to take the throw-in for Aberdeen, showing how it's done down the right hand side. Kevin Nisbet just managing to keep that in, and Carlson slips it out to the left hand side to Keskinen now coming forward. Mitchell Frame gets it into the box, but knocked away by O'Connor. Forward for Vaughan up against Polvara, who just sees it out of play, and actually it's come off Vaughan last in the assistant's view, and it will be a throw in to Aberdeen just inside Raith territory. 4 to play, Aberdeen leading by a goal to 0 and eking their way towards the 5th round draw, which will take place after the Auchinleck Celtic game.
It's not been a thing of beauty though, has it, the game? It's been competitive, it's kept your attention, absolutely. It's been a very good cup tie, but too many errors in my book. You know, the conditions are not good, you've got to say. The pitch is looking pretty rough out there, very slippy, and the rain really has poured down, particularly in the second half.
Yeah, I think Aberdeen have been obviously a lot stronger second half. They've got into a lot of good areas. It's just that they say they obviously struggle to score goals. For me, it's the final ball. It's letting them down. It's not the movement, it's not the application. It's just that little bit of quality they have in the final third.
It's a strong challenge coming in from Milne on Vaughan, and being penalised by Kevin Clancy. He took plenty of the ball actually, Milne, but
I think it's a scissor action.
Right.
I think it's that.
Yeah, well, certainly Kevin Clancy didn't like it, and it is a free kick. Peter Leven's not happy about the decision, complaining to both the referee and the 4th official down there, but the award has been made and it's not going to be changed. And Ewan Wilson then just about 10 yards inside the Aberdeen half on the left hand side is going to be given an opportunity to swing this into a dangerous area.
There's a lot of Raith players in the middle of the box,
and it comes it's right to the edge of the area. It's Hanlon who rises highest. O'Connor's helped onto the right hand side. It's Doherty trying to get it back into the middle, comes off Milne and swept away by Frame. Out for a throw in over on the far side to Raith Rovers with a couple of minutes left here. Andy Milne, the Raith Rovers assistant, and the 4th official, and Peter Leven exchanging a few words, but I think there's smiles on faces down there. I think it's all calm enough as Raith Rovers look for a late goal here that would give us another half an hour to play. It's Josh Ray, the goalkeeper, firing it out to the right hand side. O'Connor's up there, but although he got his head to it, he couldn't get a teammate involved, and Keskinen picks up and tries to feed it for Shinnie. Cross goes Wilson out to that right hand side to shepherd it back to his goalkeeper, who fires it forward up to Doherty just inside his own half. He's got Nielsen with him, and then that's a free kick. Aberdeen fans and indeed players not happy that was given as a free kick to Raith Rovers, but Kevin Clancy saw it as a foul. Time run away from Raith Rovers. They've got just over a minute of the 90 plus any stoppage time to find a goal. It's Josh Ray right out of his box up to the halfway line to take this free kick. Pretty much everyone else all the way forward. Dougie Emery just telling Ewan Wilson just to hedge his bets at the edge of the box here as it comes out, and headed away by Nielsen. Back to the halfway line. Wilson will have to scurry back and play it back to his goalkeeper. First time he plays it forward. Pretty aimless one. Nisbet gets it forward to Carlson here inside the centre circle. Out to the left hand side for Aushish. Aushish has it, slips it forward for Keskinen. Keskinen in the barrier into the middle. Nisbet can't convert. Raith get it clear and can come forward one last time perhaps as Doherty fires it looking for McMillan. It's a terrific ball, but McMillan can't bring it under control. He just lets it skid off his right boot and out for an Aberdeen throw-in as Nisbet is down. I think he maybe collided with the post there as he was trying to get on the end of Keskinen's ball into the middle. It's just behind him, and because it's so slippery out there, it took him into the upright, but he's okay, back on his feet as the 90th minute comes and goes. We've got 3 minutes added on here, and we're into those now, and Aberdeen have 3 minutes to see out to ensure that they take their place in the 5th round draw and keep alive hopes of retaining the trophy they won in such a dramatic fashion in May at Hampden. Here's Aushish coming forwards for Aberdeen, right hand side. He's got O'Connor for company here. The Frenchman spins away one way then the other from him. Nielsen gets it back to Aushish, right hand side. I guess Aberdeen can just keep it out here if they wish, and slips it to Nielsen once more at the byline. Nielsen thought about putting it into the middle, but again he just checks back, finds Aushish once more. Little back heel. Nielsen still has it. He's got it back through to Aushish. He's done really well. Aushish just overruns it in the end as Nseo came back to try and close him down, and Raith get it cleared up to the halfway line. That's going to be a Raith Rovers free kick on the halfway line as Shinnie runs away with the ball, but Scott Brown complains that he's time wasting, which he probably was, but it will be a free kick as Nseo and Shinnie come together, and well,
there's somebody down. Is it it's not McMillan. Who is it is down? Is it Lewis Vaughan?
Yeah,
that's down. I don't know if we'll get a replay of that.
It was a separate incident from the Nseo and Shinnie. Didn't see what happened there at all.
Jack Milne he collided with. I'm not too sure just exactly what happened. Shinnie's having a word with the referee. I didn't see that incident.
No, I think Nseo taking issue with Shinnie running away with the ball, trying to waste a few seconds. This is all wasting seconds, which Raith Rovers will hope will be further added on. It's Josh Ray on the halfway line, clipping the free kick to the edge of the box. This is the last opportunity. Nielsen heads it clear. Brown tries to return it. Nielsen once more is there. Aushish will try and get on the end of it. Wilson's done well to knock it forward once more. Who did that come off? It's going to be an Aberdeen throw. Ross Matthews furious, but Aberdeen get the throw in, and we've got just under a minute to play here, and it's Nisbet just outside the box, slips it for Carlson. Is it the finish here? Oh, it's a good save from Ray. Somehow diverts it wide. Carlson with his head in his hands knows he should have made that the final nail in Raith's coffin. We will have a corner, but it should have been 2-0 Aberdeen.
Yeah, he's got to score there. It's Keskinen. I think he's got a quick throw in. Nisbet, good composure, great pass in. For me, he's got to score that, Willie, doesn't he?
Without doubt, yeah.
He has to score. That's probably the best chance. Clean through there. He's got to just put it low and hard across the goalie's right hand side into the back of the net.
It's a big chance, isn't it, as well? And Nisbet, very unselfish. I thought he was going to have a go himself, I must admit. But setting in Carlson and really plenty of time too. Maybe too much time, but he's better than that, Carlson. I think a wee bit of height in it as well, a wee bit of air in it towards the back post is where the target should have been.
Raith Rovers have won the ball back and they've got themselves a free kick, but they need to get this forward. we've gone beyond the 3 minutes. I think that's a bit more added on because of the little dust up in the middle of the park a few moments ago. Josh Raith then from deep inside his own half fires it over the halfway line. Raith Rovers need to get this into the box as soon as they possibly can. Out to the right hand side it goes to Doherty, slips it forward for Nsio. Shinnie goes across to meet him, into the box it comes, but Nielsen's there. Carlson picks up, tries to get it back to Shinnie. Good challenge from Nsio. Who did it come off last? Referee has a look, points for a goal kick, as does the assistant, and that, I think, will be pretty much that in terms of Raith Rovers trying to salvage an equaliser.
Nielsen's come on and done a fantastic job for Aberdeen. Just sitting in front of their back four, he's headed everything, he's cleared everything.
There's a full-time whistle, and the Scottish Cup holders live to fight another day in this year's competition, moving into the 5th round thanks to a 1-0 victory over a determined and battling Raith Rovers side, who, having fallen behind after 9 minutes to Jack Milne's first ever Aberdeen goal, battled away to try and get the equaliser. Couldn't quite manage it. Aberdeen themselves passed up a handful of chances to make life more easy for them, but that doesn't seem to be the way of things for this Aberdeen side at the moment. But I think over a piece they probably deserved the victory, despite the efforts of Raith Rovers. Carlson at the end should have sealed it in injury time, but his effort was saved by Josh Raith earlier in the half. There was a Polvara glancing header that was blocked by O'Connor. There was a series of chances just before the hour mark, actually, when Nisbet had a chance saved by Ray. Then he set up Carlson, and that was deflected over the top by Doherty. But ultimately, the goal in the first half after 9 minutes by Jack Milne, bundling it home after Polvara had glanced on Lyle Cameron's header, is enough to see Aberdeen through and into the 5th round draw, which will take place later this evening after Auchinleck Talbot are up against Celtic in the day's final tie. But at Pittodrie, it's the boys in red who go around the stadium for the lap of honour, and the boys in navy blue who go and applaud their fans who made the trip up from Kirkcaldy and saw their team give it everything but not quite enough, as Aberdeen run out winners. It finishes at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 1, Raith Rovers 0.